Good morning, this is Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and I want to go through a little bit of a video discussion with you this morning. One, because I'm a little short on time, and two, I wanted to show you what changes took place overnight and where we've changed our thinking a little bit, but we're not ready to commit completely yet. But the trend has definitely been east overnight. This is the European model from yesterday morning that we were showing you. We made a post on Facebook about. Shows a really tightly wrapped low pressure system coming up the coast, giving nor'easter type effects to the coastline, just decimating the coastline to areas where it really didn't need to be. And we had inland snows getting back here across central PA, northeast PA, and even east central PA, northwest New Jersey to some degree, which was reflected in our second call map that we released last night. Now, if you take a look at this morning of the European model, this is the overnight run last night, you can see there's a shift of this storm that went much further east here. And I mean, this is a pretty good distance here. You're probably talking about 75 to 100 miles east of where it was before at this time yesterday and where it had been on the 10 consecutive runs before that. Now, this looks like it was a little bit of a case of tunnel vision almost. We got kind of caught up in Hurricane Sandy and how this model would perform so well for that hurricane when it had it coming up the whole time from 8 days out, taking a course like this and then just slamming into the South Jersey coastline. And that was a full 8 days in advance, and it pretty much held that. So we're more inclined to use the European model anytime you're dealing with any kind of jet stream phase, because it usually handles that stream well, or the phasing well. One of the bias it has is to either over amplify the energy off the southeastern U.S. and it also holds it back a little bit. And I think that's what the case was here with this particular storm. And because of its reputation, because it was so consistent for 10 straight runs showing the same thing, that's why you saw the major national outlets like the Weather Channel and AccuWeather and things like that. Even the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center jumped all over this and had this low sitting right out here, and a very strong low at that, sitting right out here, which would have had those effects that would have verified our second call map from last night. But it's not looking like that this morning. The trend has been to take it this. I'll show you a couple different models here, and actually this is the wind speeds off the European model. If you go into precipitation, you see what that does. I mean, you're barely getting precipitation in southeast PA, maybe east central a little bit, and then across New Jersey on the European. On the GFS model, this is the latest run of the 6Z run. This is not the 0Z run from last night. This is 6Z. It did correct a little bit west, which is why we're not ready to pull the plug just yet and say, okay, it's just going east and it's going to miss. But you see the precipitation here. This would be snow actually here in southeast PA, east central PA, and parts of interior New Jersey. And still keeps a pretty decent sized low here at 989 millibars, but it is not quite as far as east as the European models. Is kind of about right there where this see where this is here. This is about right here. So I mean that makes a difference of where if you get how much snow and precipitation comes inland here. If you look at the NAM, it's probably the furthest east of all three of them. This is a short range model that runs out to 3.5 days into the future, and you see it just heads way out here. Wraps up pretty nicely, 979 millibars. So the coast would still get in on some rain, but we're not talking about the heavy rain and battering winds on any of these models that I'm showing you here, which would be absolutely the best case scenario for the Jersey Shore, which really does not need any of this. Okay, we're going to take a look at synoptically what we're talking about, why this is showing the solution all of a sudden. Now, last week when we had Hurricane Sandy, you have this big ridge up here like this. This is all the amplified pattern here, but as you see, it's very amplified out here, very strong ridge in the west. With Sandy last week, it dug all the way down here like it is here, but instead of being flat like this out here, you see it's very flat. Instead of coming right back up the coast like this, like it did last week, at a negatively tilted trough, which captures Sandy and pull it back into the coast. This week, you have this ridge out here. That's great, but it gets down here and it's very flat here. And there's a reason for that. The reason is and I'll go ahead in time here. And you see it's starting to amplify a little bit as we're going into time, or the trough is starting to deepen, I should say. But the problem is it's a little too late. Now look where the trough position is actually further offshore. So this thing's just going to continue to follow a path like this because it has no choice to. It takes a path of least resistance here. It is starting to amplify, or the trough starting to deepen, I should say. But it's not going to go anywhere. And the reason is, last week we had a very strong high pressure sitting up here he had a block out here somewhere in the Atlantic, and it really had no choice but to come in. I mean, there was a block there. It's a very strong block signal at that point. Right now, your block it just isn't there. You have nothing there to really steer this in towards the coast. So I think that's what's happening here. You see this as it goes through time. It's 48 hours in the future, 54 hours in the future. You see it's kind of sitting there, but it really has nowhere to go but New England at this point. And even the ridge actually pumps east, and this is our warm-up coming next week, but it actually pushes it east and isn't even going to hit New England at this point. It's just going to keep shoving everything from here to here, and it misses the East Coast or just grazes it. So what does that mean? First of all, we're going to look at our second call that we have up on our website right now. We're going to leave it there for now. Most likely is going to be changing. And you can see we had light snows getting back towards like State College and all the way down to, you know, I'm not good with geography either. State College, Williamsport, maybe all the way down to just east of Altoona here. And then if you get into this area here, we had a good swath of 4 to 8 inches going from, you know, Harrisburg all the way up to, you know, through Lebanon and all the way up into the Poconos, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Mount Pocono, even 4-inch line going right here through Lehighton, just, you know, Mount Pocono, Stroudsburg, and those areas, Pottsville. So we got in that area there that we thought was going to get the heaviest snow, and that was based on the European model being correct, which we thought it was. And then this area here, and again in northwest New Jersey, would just be a slushy coating up to 1 inch, 2, 3, 4 inches at most, and higher elevation dependent. Heavy rain in interior Jersey, southeast, extreme southeast PA by Philly, and then we had the beach erosion and heavy rain here. Along the coastline, that had high winds, very high winds, and I think we're going to be taking that out now. I'm going to take a look at this morning. This is I kind of amended this a little bit here, and I kept the lines in here so you could see where we were. This was our westernmost extent before. I think this shift east of 75 to 100 miles is probably a good bet, but we're going to wait on the 12Z runs today to make that call. But if the overnight guidance is correct, we kind of blend them together and make a forecast. It would be cold enough out here to have interior snows here, but it would be very minor, maybe a coating, maybe 1 inch, maybe 2 inches, something like that in these blue areas. Once you get into Jersey here, it actually could get a couple more inches out of it, maybe 3 or 4 inches you could squeeze out of it. Just by the coast, it's a little too warm for rain. You see, we took the red along the coast out because with the low pressure that far offshore, you wouldn't be dealing with these high winds and things of that nature. So we don't think that's going to be an issue now if this is further offshore. This is basically what we'll be looking at is, you know, areas where snow is possible in the blue, rain or showers at least would be the areas in green here. So we'd be getting rid of this nonsense here. We take the heavy rain out, make this probably about a 1/2 inch of rain instead of 1.5. The sustained winds 20 to 30 or probably more like 10 to 15 along the coast, which is you know, just a godsend right there because they really don't need it. And we're only leaving these colors here, the, you know, light blue and the green, but they take on different terminology here. So we'll update that throughout the day. We're going to wait till the 12Z model suite comes in today and see where that's trending. The GFS did correct west at 6Z this morning, so we'll see if that's a trend or if that was just something that was just a temporary thing. But as of right now, this is what we're looking at as of this morning. I'm meteorologist Bobby Martrich. Thanks for listening.